Here are my top tips for decorating cookies using a projector. 1. Make sure you keep the room dimly lit. Projectors work best in low lighting since they have to project a light onto the surface. So if you have a lot of surrounding light or you're working near a window, it's going to dilute the image and make it harder to see. So make sure you're working in a space that doesn't have too much light. 2. Work on a flat surface. You want to make sure that the cookie is completely flat and that the projector is totally level. Even a slight tilt of the projector can distort the image and make the image on your cookie look off. 3. Make sure you're using a black text or a black image or dark colored image on a white background projected onto the cookie. You want to make sure that that image is projecting at a high contrast onto the cookie so that you can see it easily. If you make the color like a light pink or a light gray in the image and that's what's being projected, it's going to be really hard to see and know where to trace on the cookie. So make sure the image is high contrast. 4. Make sure that your image is zoomed up and scaled appropriately. The great thing about using a projector is that you can plan and place your image wherever you want for the perfect look. It takes all the mystery out of where to place the image or text on your cookie and making sure that everything is spaced perfectly. So make sure you take the time to zoom in that image, adjust the height of your projector to make sure that it's perfectly fitted on your cookie. 5. If you're just starting out, keep it simple. I know it's going to be fun using a projector and having that world of any image at your fingertips, but it's helpful to use a bold image with thicker or clean lines versus something that's more intricately detailed as you're just getting used to it. You don't want to start off with anything too difficult or too detailed. It takes some time to get used to how to pipe on the cookie using the projected image and know where you're tracing and how to follow the lines. So don't overwhelm yourself from the start and keep it simple until you get more comfortable. 6. Make sure you use a tripod or some kind of stand to keep the projector in place and stable while working with it. I've done this way too many times in the past. Before I had an actual setup, I would just kind of balance the projector on, I don't know, in between stacks of books or weird things like that. You don't want to be doing that. You really want to make sure that you invest in a solid, stable stand so that you don't have to even worry about fussing with that while you're decorating cookies. The last thing you want is the projector to droop or get off balance and mess up your image while you're decorating. Once you start decorating, that projector cannot move. So make sure that it's stable and set however you want to do that. 7, and make sure that you're not blocking the image anywhere while you're tracing the design. You don't want to be casting a shadow with your hands while using the projector because then you won't be able to see what you're doing. So it does take a little while to figure out the best position for you. Sometimes it helps to be on an angle or a little lower. You might have to adjust yourself and adjust your positioning in order to not block that projected image. 8, when in doubt, test it out. Even though you have a projector casting a perfect image on the cookie that you're going to trace, it doesn't remove the risk for any other mistakes that could happen with your royal icing. So one of the things I've seen a lot is even if people are using projectors, they think that everything else is foolproof and their cookies will look perfect no matter what. But that's not true. You still want to pay attention to the consistencies that you're using for the job and for each area of the design. And before you get started, it just always helps to test out your consistency on a piece of parchment paper, or you can even cast the image using the projector on the parchment and do a practice run. It just really helps to do a practice test before you commit to the cookies. 9, if you're still a little nervous about committing to the picture or you're struggling with tracing the design, edible ink markers can really help out with kind of giving you some extra guides in the placement of where to pipe. you can always just project the image, trace it out in an edible marker, and then pipe it from there. You don't have to commit to anything that you're not comfortable with. So if you're struggling with your hand while you're piping and using the projector, I understand that can be a lot of coordination. Definitely consider that you can trace it with edible marker and pipe the royal icing onto the cookie without the projector casting at the same time. And lastly, number 10, make sure you take breaks. I've found that working with a projector, it's easy to get a little bit more consumed with all of the detail going on. So it is okay to take breaks, come back to it. As long as the projector and the cookie are in the same exact position as you left it, definitely feel free to step away, go get a drink of water, take a quick break, and reset your eyes, because it's very easy to get consumed by all of the detail going on and what you're focusing on. So those are my top 10 tips for working with a projector for cookie decorating. I hope these were helpful for you, and make sure you check out my other videos of writing on cookies using a projector and also my projector setup. I'll link those videos below in the description so you have everything you need to get started or level up your game working with a projector. I'll see you in the next one.